This is Jimmy Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. Let's get right into it. First, we have the pro-Israel lobby claims we're Hamas supporters. We are not, however, I do support classifying the so-called Israeli Defense Forces as a terrorist group, the same exact designation that Hamas has. From Air Silver One, that's crosswords from the Palestine subreddit, and yeah, I personally think, there are tons of bad people on both sides, but ultimately I think whoever you want to label as a terrorist, I think you should be able to label as a terrorist, but I think that's kind of my thing, I don't think we should have official terrorist lists or any of that, because some people, one man's terrorist, is another man's freedom fighter, and that's important to remember. So I think, we should just have everyone have their own list, I will say, for who they consider terrorists and who they consider freedom fighters, or whatever. Then we have the U.S. Libertarian Party from Vajaspel, and that's a picture, a meme of that says libertarians, and the yelling words, why can't you just be normal? Libertarian Party is just this screaming like autistic kid. So yeah, I would agree with that. The thing is, I think libertarians are not normal, and that's just kind of what we are. We question the system, and if you question the system, you're not normal these days. So that's my thoughts on the issue. If you want to be normal, I think you should be normal. I think you should be able to be normal, but I think no one's really normal, especially in a post-social media society, I would say. Then we have the neocons and military-industrial complex wanted war with Iran in 2001. None of us should be surprised by the new ploy to drag Americans into such a conflict, from LP National on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, the U.S. has been pushing for war with Iran as long as I can remember. I think that linking them to Hamas seems to be the current way they're going about it. And, it's arguably they were pushing for 1979, for 2001 as well, at least since 1979, I would say. The U.S. seemingly always has to be involved in a land war in Asia as well, from Korea to Vietnam to Afghanistan to Iraq to Syria. They really should have figured out that's one of the most famous blunders by now. Yeah. Then we have, if you switch out work for war, this is pretty much the most accurate summary of U.S. government policy ever. And that's a YouTube video from Michael Sioff about SpongeBob reading his go to work list. It's just go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. That's kind of like U.S. foreign policy. It's just all go to war, go to war, go to war, go to war. It's always, and the thing is, it's not just all abroad. The U.S. government has effectively declared war on its own citizens as well, with all the rules and regulations they try and impose on them constantly. Then we have the impact of public school choice, evidence from Los Angeles' zones of choice, from MBER.org by Rumai Circlejerk, and I definitely would agree, that I think school choice is a good thing, because I don't think people should be forced to go to certain schools if they don't want to. I think we need people to choose what schools they want to go to or what schools they want to send their kids to, I would say. And we have, in case you don't know, cultural heritage destruction is a precursor to genocide. If we were in an armed conflict, it would violate Rule 40 of the Geneva Convention, the 1954 Hague Convention, and the 2003 UNESCO Declaration. It's a violation of international humanitarian law. That's from Lisa Elizabeth on Twitter, and I posted that, and that was her response to them burning the statue of Robert E. Lee. And I said, it was still cultural heritage. It belonged in a museum. I'm not saying I agree with the message of the statue. I'm saying that it's important to keep artifacts of our past regardless of how wrong they may be. I don't think we should We need to. I don't think we should, glorify the white supremacist or KKK slaveholders of the past. But we need to preserve those artifacts. I don't care for when the Christians destroyed all the Roman statues either. If people ever come forward that you like is now seen as white supremacy, don't say you weren't warned. With the trajectory things are going, I can see people just start burning down stuff like the Mona Lisa by the end of the century. And people have already started taking down statues of Washington, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt. I don't really care for Trump, but he was absolutely correct about that in his address after Charlottesville. I don't care for Ramesses II either, but I don't think we should be destroying statues of him, especially ones that are multiple millennia old. We gotta preserve our history and what we still can, I'll say, and not let people destroy it because the narrative says to. Then we have, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain at Tom from that's a quote from Thomas E. Woods from Dan McAdams, and that was Dan McAdams tweeting about how the new Speaker of the House, what's his name, Mike Johnson, said, well, I do support additional assistance for Ukraine. And I said they are all pretty much interchangeable. He's going to push for all the Ukraine aid, and in addition to all the Israel aid, and despite this him being an America First Republican, it just goes to show you that really doesn't exist. It's all just media hype. I'd say, they're just trying to also wear America First, but they're all in the pockets of the globalists as well, I would say. Then we have New Rule, The Real Deep State from Bill Maher on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, disagree with Maher on the FBI CIA at the start. He says that's not a deep state. I think that's 100% deep state, about how they can control narratives and coup whenever they want to, but that's just something else. And I said, but otherwise this is a good segment. How much bureaucratic bullshit prevents you from pretty much doing anything? Yeah, because it's all red tape, and you can't do anything without getting like a million permits to do it. So that's why I think you can't rely on the government. You ask permission for the government for everything. Sometimes you have to give yourself permission, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, I would say. Then we have banned from r/libertarian without explanation from Matt AU05, and I definitely don't think that's good, but I definitely think we need more free speech, and that's something I really support, even if we don't necessarily agree with it. You can't have these ideological echo chambers, as I think that's not something that has turned out to be good, when people just get these echo chambers, and they get just becoming extreme in all their ideals, want to bully those ideals onto other people. Then we have Why the World is Obsessed with the Israel and Palestine from J.J. McCullough on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, it's simply the new divisive issue to fight over. Soon it's going to be something else. It's always, you always have to fight with someone over something. It's whatever the media really focuses on. The Central African Republic's been at civil war since 2012. The media doesn't talk about it, so the issue might as well not exist. Same thing with Armenia and Azerbaijan. They've been at each other's throats recently, but the media doesn't talk about it, so no one really cares. Next we have, what do we have next? We have poll, Iraq War versus January 6th, which was worse and why? And I said, easy vote for Iraq War for me. Higher death count and less accountability for those who pushed it are the big reasons for my decision. Knowing where it's done, I'm pretty sure that January 6th will probably win. I honestly think most voters would probably vote as being worse than the Holocaust. False. And then, so currently it's 17 votes for Iraq War, 8 votes for January 6th. And then I said, Bush is probably my least favorite president of my lifetime. Unlike with Trump, there was seemingly no effort to hold him accountable. Then we have, do we not see the folly of our adventurism that transformed cattle herders into jihadists? Rand Paul forced a debate on U.S. interventionism in Niger and asked Congress to reflect on Obama's intervention in Libya. And that's from Jaded Jared across from the Libertarian subreddit. And, yeah, I definitely think I disagree with Rand Paul on some issues, but he's absolutely correct here. U.S. shouldn't just be going around policing the world and whacking people with its big stick, That's something that we've been doing for well over a century now, since arguably the 1890s and the coup in Hawaii. And it's something that, it's we should probably stop doing, but, we're probably going to keep doing it forever because nothing ever changes, it seems, when it comes to U.S. politics. Then we have, is anyone else kind of surprised that a delusional Redditor hasn't tried to take out Trump yet? And I posted that, and I said, it's been almost a decade since his rise to political prominence, and Reddit has pretty much always hated him since then. I'm surprised that some Redditor hasn't tried to go after him, yelling something like, I vanquished the Orange Man, where's my updates? It's important to remember that Redditors, as most social media users, are all bark and no bite bullets. And yeah, I personally think, I don't care for Trump's fan base either. They're kind of violent as well. But I definitely am kind of surprised you don't see as much political violence in the U.S. going on currently because of all the hype on social media. Because I think, social media is just kind of like, it's not really reality. It's more just like, hype, And that's something that you are increasingly, I think, seeing it spill over into IRL. But increasingly right now, I think it's mostly just hype. Then we have, I thought I was joking. That's a tweet from Michael Malice. And he, on October 14th, he quote tweeted himself from October 14th. He did the State of Universities today, and it was the Palestine flag, only instead of the white in the middle, it was the rainbow flag for the LGBTQ people. And then today, yesterday, and Wokeness tweet, LGBTQ plus pride flag just got updated. It was the Palestine flag on top of the other pride flag. And I said, Malice's flag, unironically, looks better. This just goes to show you where you live in a world where you can make jokes and that they oftentimes really happen because, satire is dead because, increasingly, the jokes you make about your political opponents are, something you're actually going to do at this point. Then we have, the Justice Democrats are a pro-Palestinian faction that in the Democratic Party, that they're the faction in the Democratic Party are not funded by apartheid money that also wanted to stop war crimes against Palestinians. And that's a tweet from the Justice Dems by International Silver One. And I personally, I disagree with Justice Dems on a lot, but I do think that we need to get out of we do need peace as much as possible, and I think we should have people stop justifying hurting each other constantly over petty bullshit, I would say. Then we have The Contradictions of Queers for Palestine from Reason.com by 2000 Times a Charm. And, yeah, I personally think, that's kind of a leopards ate my face kind of thing, but it's Reddit, so that's only, the Reddit will only say, Reddit told me that was only a GOP issue. So yeah, I personally think, if you want to support whoever you want to support, that's fine. But, when you support someone who would probably kill you if they had a chance, I think that's important to remember that, maybe be a little smarter with who you support yeah, that's why I would say, just, yeah. Then we have r/Libertarian Uncensored votes, the 2024 Democratic Party U.S. primary, October 29, 2023 edition. And I said Dean Phillips and Swank Uyghur, who is constitutionally eligible to serve as he is not a natural-born U.S. citizen, have entered the field since the last poll. And currently, the poll is at 2 votes for Joe Biden, 1 vote for Marianne Williamson, 1 vote for Ever/abstain. And yeah, I just opened that poll up an hour ago. So let's see. We have to do 2 other polls. The Republican Party is primary. Quite a few withdrawals from the field since the last poll. Mike Pence, Larry Elder, Perry Johnson, Corey Stapleton, Will Hurt, and Steve Laffey. And I said, so currently we have 1 vote for Donald Trump, 1 vote for Nikki Haley, 1 vote for Rick Ramaswamy, that's me, 1 vote for Chris Christie, 1 vote for Robert Abstain. No, it's Ron DeSantis, though. And I stick with Ron, so I think he's probably the most libertarian option there. I voted Williamson for the Everett. I don't know if I said that for the Democrats, yeah. And for the Libertarian Party, I have the poll up for that. Charles Blaze entered the field since the last poll. 2 votes for Chase Oliver, 1 vote for Mike Termat, 1 vote for Robert Abstain. I voted for Mike Termat because he follows me on Twitter. And I think we're going to wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys next episode. Bye.